Video 167, November, 2022. Sorry for the lack of time control to be closer to this group of friends, much happening in other colonies in full development, and this leads us to places obstructing the possibility of regular communication. Given the numerous colonial consequences in this regional CG, we are even increasing our staff available to increase integrative missions. We have had transfers between colonies for the adequacy of culture levels that has been very gratifying, the fact that we are participating in this mediation. Friends, as I have previously pointed out, many civilizations have undergone development periods on this planet, and had to be removed as a whole during certain significant evolutionary or cataclysmically events. Most of the visiting discoveries of large societies that mysteriously disappeared without a reasonable explanation of your science, abandoning large cities among other facilities, were taken from the planet to others more favorable at that time in the evolutionary time. According to the annals of the regional galactic community, until your year 2030 there may be a large expected removal movement for several societies currently hosted on this planet, and this is a subject that I do not have a specific license to mention, but like this one contact group was once considered as a study group, some positions I can risk including as context information. Since the records after the 2030 date are not yet properly mentioned, it seems that the future related to the period of the post-2030 planet is part of a set of variables arising from this large operation and are not yet fully defined in the sequence. In my perception, there may be a new exodus of other cultures that may be redirected to this planet for development sequence, after the planet readapt the absence of many of your current cultures and their clothing in the nature of the planet. This means no extinction. There is no prediction in the CG annals yet on the data provided for this period. What is expected is that on this threshold of time, the human race as a whole can behave as the most conscious way possible in integration with what may occur in the level that is reserved for the next stage of civilization that will continue, if not only here but where it will be transferred to continue the redevelopment saga. As you already know, the two planets that are receiving the tracks less favored by awareness, I mentioned them. But those that are above these tracks I have not mentioned so far. Those above these tracks will be added to more advanced civilizations, with a profile compatible with the possibility of continuing to evolve. These aggregations may also happen physically, not necessarily with reincarnating processes. And this may be an unparalleled life experience for most of those who participate. As you know, the planet was the cradle of hundreds of great civilizations that are currently much more advanced in the places where they were transferred. Just as now, you have been transferred thousands of years as exiles from other cultures for the zero-level development, part of the current population will move to the highest stage. This current state of affairs that many societies are experiencing mismanagement, irresponsibility, greed and ego, are remnants of collective karma, which makes people born there have to go through situations they would not want, and are sure that nothing happens by chance. Many of your regional governments are being aware of these times of modifications, and much of what should be regularized in the short and medium deadlines is getting lost by uncertainty of long-term uncertain directions, because they simply do not glimpse that the short and medium deadlines is that will determine long-term events for their futures. When people alerted by the karma of the past consciously want no one else to go through these situations, regardless of class, religion or ethnicity, only then will these people be released to their new golden era of development, about what I always mentioned as socialization level 1. CB updated me with their personal observations and I compared them with those manifested in the cohesive group we form, and we can say that 40% of those analyzed on the planet is in full position to participate in the next level of socialization. The level of awareness of this colony is developing exponentially, excluding many of the current leaders, demonstrating that people today are looking for a course of integration on the planet respecting races, customs and traditions, regardless of unilateralism imposed by determinate groups that feel in right to dictate rules and conduct pre-approved by their groups to all other indiscriminate ones. The fragility of your social system is leading the planet to various political, financial and social readjustments. Pleiadians and Arcturians are closely observing everything that is happening with your dominant elites and all the social errors being made by wrong and pernicious motives. What I can say is that the human race as heirs of this planet begins to be identified more intensely, and in a few years we will have this identification from 50%, that is, until before your year 2030 we can have the race that may represent terrains on the Regional CG Council. Just to comment, I am proud of our base in Mars that is very functional. Now in the current stage of the Earth and atmosphere our biolaboratories have already taken many species of fruiting plants for acclimatization, insects such as butterflies and bees, and small animals that make up the biological balance. With the field of energy we can confine our area of the approx space 12 x 12 kilometers and keep our biosystem made available to any other race interested in the results achieved. You can check the new atmospheric consistency with any amateur telescope of medium size. Now we have a headquarters for our crews and an individual group set defined as base of operations, which does not interfere with the rest of research facilities and separate from various laboratories, where we combine strategies, we elaborate the missions, and have our personal igloos for activities personal. As a curiosity, we passed the traverse of the object you call Oumuamua, and talked to Etonian scientists who clarified that this was an old recognition and research ship that travels and still travels on predefined routes with animal life sensors, atmospheres and minerals updating star maps. Some still maintain data communication with their study centers, without crew and automatic mode, diverting from gravitational fields, maneuvering and accelerating, and this particular object is still operational. I consider you as Manchik's friends, good friends, and I just ask you to try to get people from other cultures scattered throughout your planet as brothers, respecting differences and creeds, because what the people want is to have a chance, peace and integration. Stop listening to the discord generated by elements that want to accumulate power dictating rules to confront societies against others, to subjugate all under their wills. What we desire for our children and friends is exactly the same in all societies that continue to survive on your planet, and the greater the equity among peoples the greater the representation of the planet as an intergalactic race. Now that I already have my igloo in our colony, I will always have to come to water the plants. And so I will see you more often. Have patience and be well.